You're watching ShotokuTech Saturday Story Time, 17 October 2020 edition. Okay, welcome back to ShotokuTech Saturday Story Time, and what the hell is that thing? Anyway, get out your 2020 bingo card, because if you have hairy venomous caterpillar on it, you're one more square away from bingo. Here in Eastern Virginia, they found this puss caterpillar. It gets its name puss because it has soft fur and a tail like a cat. But touching a puss caterpillar brings physical pain. Its so-called hairs are actually venomous spines that cause a painful reaction if touched. So if you see that thing there, leave it alone. So back in September on ShotokuTech Saturday Storytime, we talked about this mystery mini moon, and it's getting closer, and scientists believe that it is this spent stage of a Centaur rocket that was launched in the 60s. Back in 1966, this Atlas Centaur 7 rocket flew into space, and now apparently it's coming back around, and it might become a temporary moon around the Earth. This gentleman named Paul Chodas is the premier expert apparently on this Centaur rocket. He speculates that asteroid 2020 SO is the Centaur upper stage from the NASA Surveyor 2 moonlander that was launched in 1966. It has a near circular orbit around the Sun quite similar to the Earth's. The object is also in the same plane as the Earth, not like coming at a different angle of tilt. As it gets closer, they should be able to better chart its orbit and determine how much it's pushed around by the radiation and thermal effects of the Sun. If it's an old Centaur, essentially a light, empty can, it will move differently than a heavy space rock, less susceptible to outside forces. Spaghettification might sound tasty, but if you're a star near a black hole, it actually means death. So a rare blast of light emitted by a star is sucked in by a supermassive black hole was spotted by scientists using telescopes around the world. This is a tidal disruption event, and it's the closest flare of its kind, occurring just 215 million light years away. This is what happens when a star gets too close to a black hole. The black hole shreds the star into thin streams of material, a process called spaghettification. Tidal disruptions are rare events, and they're not always easy to study because, the universe is big and there's a lot of dust clouds and stuff like that. But they were able to catch this particular event and view it in extreme detail. So they used several different telescopes and a satellite to view this flare named AT2019QIZ over a 6-month period as it grew brighter and then faded away. So this sounds like science fiction, but this tidal disruption event actually happens, and they were able to see it in complete detail. When a black hole devours a star, it can launch a powerful blast of material outwards that obstructs our view. This happens because the energy released as the black hole eats up stellar material propels the star's debris outwards. So in this particular case, they were able to identify what was happening early enough to observe the whole process. Several sky surveys discovered this emission, and they were able to determine which ground telescopes would be best suited for the observation. This star was roughly the same mass as our Sun. Dust and debris is being drawn up as the black hole launched a powerful outflow of material with velocities up to 10,000 kilometers per second. Boy, that's quite a dust storm. So Pluto has snow-capped mountains much like the Earth. On the right here you see the Alps, and on the left here you see mountains on Pluto. But this is not because it's colder as you get higher in the atmosphere of Pluto, it's because it gets warmer. And this is actually methane condensate that is accumulated on the mountain peaks of Pluto. Another great discovery from the New Horizons spacecraft. General Atomics and Boeing have teamed up to build this high-energy laser for air and missile defense. We're talking about a laser 250 to 300 kilowatts in power, and it's going to be mounted on a truck as part of this Army's high energy laser demonstration program. Now, if we could just attach them onto those AI powered flying drones and hook them into Skynet, we'll be all set. So when I woke up on Wednesday morning, I went to tweet this story about the Soyuz taking off for the International Space Station, and I found out they had already docked with the International Space Station. They only took 2 orbits, allowing them to reach International Space Station in just 3.5 hours. I don't know what the rush was. We have Kate Rubins, Sergei Ryzhikov, and Sergei Kudzverkov of the Russian space agency Roscosmos lifted off on Wednesday morning for a 6-month stint on the station. Normally it takes twice as long for crews to reach the station. Of course, they've performed the cursory quarantine required these days. They have a lot of interesting experiments planned. Bioprinting tissues, growing cells in space, and continuing work on sequencing of DNA. They're also going to try to find that pesky leak. So apparently on Tuesday there was a break-in at the San Francisco Zoo, and it turned out Maki the lemur disappeared. Well, fortunately, on Thursday they found him in a Daly City playground, and he was taken back to his enclosure by zoo officials. Looks like he's busted there. That's an interesting walkabout. Oh, the stories you could tell. Well, when I first tweeted about this, it was before the event, but fortunately these 2 dead satellites did not collide last night. We're talking about nearly 3 tons of combined mass between this Soviet satellite and discarded Chinese rocket stage. Soviet Paras-64 and the CZ-4C rocket stage whizzed by each other without incident, and there's no additional debris detected. On Tuesday, Leo Labs, a company that monitors the path of space junk in low Earth orbit, announced that there was an impending potential collision. This is a serious event. If there's a collision like this, there will be lots of debris scattered around orbiting Earth for a long time and threaten other living satellites and the International Space Station and manned space travel. We're talking about 6,170 pounds of mass traveling past each other at 32,900 miles per hour. That would be quite an explosion. The objects were expected to come within 80 feet of each other, so the probability of the collision was greater than 10%. So Leo Labs is able to observe this CZ-4C rocket stage pass over their New Zealand-based radar after the close approach, and they'll be able to confirm that the collision did not occur. 12-year-old Nathan Rushkin has always wanted to be a paleontologist. Maybe he watched Jurassic Park when he was a kid, but he's already made a significant discovery. He found a partially unearthed dinosaur fossil while hiking with his dad in Horseshoe Canyon in the Badlands of Alberta, Canada. It's an amazing find. An actual dinosaur discovery. It's been my dream for a while. He's in the 7th grade in Calgary, and it's about an hour and a half away from the park. The fossil was a humerus bone from the arm of a juvenile hadrosaur, or duck-billed dinosaur. So Nathan said the fossil was very obvious, and it looked like it was a stage scene from a TV show or a cartoon. So they sent a picture to the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology, and they identified the fossil and sent a team of paleontologists to the site. Fossils are protected by law in Alberta, and it's important that people don't disturb fossils that they may find. They worked at the site for about 2 months and uncovered between 30 and 50 bones from that single young hadrosaur that was about 3 or 4 years old. These are common fossils in Alberta's Badlands, but they have very few juvenile skeletons. So here, a young human discovers a young dinosaur. All right, congratulations, Nathan. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech Saturday Story Time. Look down below for the URL to this Blogspot article with all of the links to these stories. Thank you and have a great week. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.